Welcome back to the Weekly Huddle YouTube channel. Today I will be discussing my top 5 quarterbacks for the 2022 NFL Draft heading into the next collegiate season. This will be based on the grades I have given to each of these quarterbacks based on the tape I've watched heading into the season. And I have 10 different categories I rank the quarterbacks in, and on the sides of the pictures with each quarterback's face, you will see where they ranked among the other top 5 quarterbacks as of right now. I plan on doing this right now and then dropping another one of these right before the draft next year in April, just to see a kind of comparison of where I was before and after and how they stacked up compared to where I see them now. Starting out with number 5, we have Carson Strong, quarterback out of Nevada, a very big-armed pocket passing kind of quarterback who doesn't play against the toughest competition, but I never really put a lot of stock into the amount of competition someone plays against, so I didn't really knock him for that. He has decent accuracy for his arm strength. Usually when you see people with strong arms that are like this, they don't really have pinpoint accuracy, mostly because they don't know how to take heat off the ball and things like that. But he shows surprising amounts of accuracy along with the arm strength. But he doesn't really bring a lot to the running side of the offense, where he can use his legs to get out of trouble, but he can't really make plays for himself. If the pocket breaks down, he's either going to get rid of it or maybe pick up a yard or two. He's not going to be able to extend plays or offer any dynamic in the read option area of an offense. So he's more one of those guys who probably need protection when it comes to NFL, and he'll be able to distribute the ball and open up a lot of the deep playbook passing stuff, but he'll be a very one-dimensional quarterback. Number 4 is going to be Sam Howell, quarterback out of North Carolina. I don't do a lot of player comps, but for Sam Howell, every single time I watch him, I just immediately think Baker Mayfield. He is a shorter, 6'1" kind of quarterback, not too short, but you know what I mean. Not like your 6'4" behemoths like Carson Strong. And he is more of a distributor than like a big-time playmaker with his legs, but he can use his legs. He can distribute the ball accurately to all 3 levels of the football field. He makes good decisions. He's just not the most dynamic player. He's not going to go out there and make these big, exciting, extremely flashy plays like Mahomes or an Allen. He'll go out there and he'll get the job done, have a little swagger to him, run your offense competently. He's just not going to have he's never going to be a top-end quarterback. He'll just be able to run your offense, and if that's something you can draft in the first round. This is definitely a first-round quarterback. Not saying he's not, but he doesn't have the ceiling some of these other guys above him are going to have. Number 3 is going to be Matt Corral, quarterback out of Ole Miss. Very limited starts this past season, so based off of the small sample size, I'm very impressed. He's a guy who has a strong arm. He's not the strongest, but it's definitely an NFL adequate arm who can reach all 3 levels of the football field and puts a little zip on those out-breaking routes from the opposite hash. He's pretty accurate. He'll have maybe 1 or 2 plays that'll get away from him, but for the most part, he has good ball placement and never really puts his receivers in a position where they have to make the play for him. He always has the ball in the right spot, and his interceptions will become more down to decision-making than it would be to accuracy. He still needs some time to work on his decision-making, which is why I'm hoping that he could maybe progress to the top quarterback spot once this next season comes out and he has more starts under his belt. He'll be able to see defenses more and he'll just grow with more playing time. But he's a great athlete, he has a great arm, and he just needs more experience and seasoning before he can be one of those top quarterback prospects. But he has all the potential and all the upside of anybody else on this list. At number 2, this is going to be a little controversial to other people in the draft community, but I have Spencer Rattler, quarterback Oklahoma here. Very good athlete. Big play guy. He's a really good arm. His accuracy is good, especially downfield. Great downfield accuracy with the arm to match it. Has good athleticism to make plays outside of the pocket. Be a guy who can play in the read option game strongly. He reminds me a lot of Deshaun Watson when he was at Clemson. He's this really dynamic athlete who can make big plays for you. But the one thing I have that's an issue for me is something that's going to have to be retooled this year, or maybe even when he gets to the pros, is how he handles himself in the pocket. He has all these other things going for him. Like, he can be a number 1 overall pick, but his pocket presence is so not NFL ready. Like, he does a lot of drifting away from the pocket, like backwards, making throws harder for him and making them farther. He has good deep ball accuracy, but he typically makes passes deeper than this should be because of how he drifts. He doesn't trust his pocket a lot of the time, so he'll have a clean pocket and he'll still run from it as if he's getting pressured. And then other times he'll drift into pressure. He just doesn't have good pocket awareness right now as a quarterback, and that's the one thing I need to see him improve in before I can establish him as the number one quarterback in this upcoming draft. And at number one, this is a shocker. I think I'm in the minority with this one, but my number one quarterback is Malik Willis, quarterback out of Liberty. A lot of people are going to go Spencer Rattler here because Willis needs to get his accuracy touched up. He's not the best accuracy-wise, but as we've seen with players like Justin Herbert and Josh Allen, that can be something fixed with reining them in, not letting them be like, these wild cannons that run around and just throw the ball, because he has to make a lot of plays by himself because of his offensive line at Liberty. He needs to rein it in when he gets to the pros. He has one of, if not the strongest arm in this draft class, game-breaking athleticism, like a Lamar Jackson-style athlete, with the strong arm and ability to make plays outside of the called play, which he needs to do a lot just because the rest of the team around him isn't that great. Just watch his game against Virginia Tech last year. He was phenomenal. He has good ball placement. When he's accurate, he's really accurate. It's just the consistency needs to be there. But outside of that, he just checks off all my markers for like what a good quarterback in the NFL is going to be. He's like a Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson kind of guy who can run around, make you miss no matter where you are, can put up 100 yards rushing per game at quarterback, could be a 1,000-yard rusher in the NFL. And as long as you can rein in the stallion a little bit with that, crazy arm talent and things like that, and get it so he's more precise with his passes and not just throwing it up there as hard as he can, because he has the arm to make all of those plays, I think he can be, a top 5 quarterback in this league. So that's my quarterback list. We'll see how this fares come next April when I make my updated one after we have a whole another season of film on these players. But right now I have some surprises. Some people I left off the list, like Desmond Ridder and Keaton Slovis. I tried to make room for on this list, but those guys just missed a little bit. Carson Strong has just that bit more of NFL readiness, I think, than both of them. But yeah, so tell me how you think my list matches up to yours and where I need to go back and look at stuff so that way I can readjust this come April. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.